How it's going, guys? Group 2 is here. So for today's video, we're going to take a look and discuss some construction materials, specifically ferrous and non-ferrous metals. First in the list is aluminum. Aluminum is a lustrous silver-white non-magnetic metal which is mainly used for window and door frames, panels, roofings, and sidings. Second to the list is copper, which is a lustrous reddish metal that is used in electric and communication cable. Next is nickel steel, which is stronger than a carbon steel and used in structural members. Furthermore, steel is a malleable alloy of carbon and iron and uses for structural frameworks. Tin is a lustrous white relatively unaffected by exposure to air and used for plating and making of alloys and soft solders. Stainless steel, which is made with purely chromium or combined with nickel, is used for exterior wall panels, expansion joint, flashings, covings, fascia, and gable stops. Aluminum foil is a reflective insulation and vapor barrier used for building panels and insulation. Pig iron is a cheap and easy to cast. It is used for pipes, pumps, and motor engine. Cast iron is a melted pig iron used for roofing sheets, wire, and metal ornaments. Copper foam is a low-density permeable material mainly used for insulation and filtration of molten metal alloys. Common brands is NanoShell. Reinforcement bar is a metal that made from new or used steel that increases tensile strength of a structure. It is mainly used for CHB lighting, lateral ties, for columns, stirrups for beams, and column footing. Rebars have different sizes like 10 mm, 12 mm, 16 mm, 20 mm, and 25 mm diameter and commonly cost 20 pesos per kilogram. Cross metal plate, also known as diamond plate, is a metal with a regular pattern of raised diamonds or lines on one side that reduces the risk of slipping. It was used for stairs, catwalks, walkways, and in industrial settings. Silver coiled wire is a twisted strands of metal wire that used in fences, cable, and wirings. The common size is number 16 and 70 pesos per kilo. Aluminum metal foam consists of a solid metal with cast filmed force comprising a large portion of the volume. It is mainly used as a heat exchangers and lightweight optics. Wide flange is a H-shaped beam with wider flanges than I-beam. It is used in constructing houses, bridges, and other structures. Angle structural shape is a metal in the form of right angle, mainly used for roof trusses. Common sizes are 40 mm by 40 mm by 6 mm thick, which costs 896 pesos per meters. Steel strapping is made from high tensile flat wire used for bonding column forms in a size of 16 mm by 0.5 mm meters, which costs 8,867 pesos. C-purlins are horizontal structures that are used to support the load from roof deck or the sheeting. It is used for cladding and as a support for walls and floors. Other metals will be discussed with my groupmate.
Good day everyone, I'm Marian Jambolianes from BSA 1B and I'll be discussing with you some of the prepared material board for ferrous and non-ferrous materials. Take note that ferrous materials means these are metals that are rich in iron, and non-ferrous, as its name suggests, has very little amount of iron or no iron content at all. The first metal board or material board that I'm going to discuss is this. So let's start with aluminum, which is one of the most common metal. This aluminum sheet is often used in floorings and bridges. Medline is one of the biggest brands that sells aluminum construction metals here in the Philippines. It is available in sheets with varying thickness and prices. Next is welded wire fabric. It is usually used in concrete structural flat slabs or in slab construction. It is used as a reinforcement to add to the strength of the slabs and ensure a stronger or more stable overall construction. It can be available in either sheet, panels, or rolls. Common sizes are 6x6 to 10x10, 6x6 to 6x6, and 6x6 to 4x4. So next is binding wire. Binding wire, as its name suggests, has a function of attaching two things to one another by bending itself. It is a tool used to bind reinforcement to each other so that placing of concrete does not result to any movement of the reinforcement rather than intended. This is available in hardwares and can be sold per meter or per yard. Let's move on to nickel or nickel steel. This is used for making storage cylinders for liquefied gases and for low temperature application. It is used for heavy forgings, screws, bolts, and nuts, but on this material it is on a form of a steel bar. Next is U-profile. It can be used in roof trusses, facade, cladding construction, and partition walls. Also, these profiles, including Z profiles, can be used in warehouse cladding connections. And additionally, it can support sandwich panels or trapezoidal sheets. Next is bolts and nuts. Bolts and nuts are important hardware metals with main function of holding or fastening two or more objects or components together. It comes in varying sizes from small, medium to large, and so on and so forth. Next is the second material board for metals. Let's start off with grid steel bar or bar grading, which is typically used for industrial style floor due to its excellent strength to weight ratio and high percent of open area, making it most or almost maintenance free, and which is a very common characteristic of steel, being maintenance free. Excuse me. Next is Z types. These are used as structural members for modular steel frame buildings. The beams are used for constructing curtain and partition walls, as well as for ceiling joists, eaves beams, frame beams, and roof purlins. Excuse me. Next is brass coil. It can be produced into rod, profile, tube, plate, sheet, foil, and even wire. I'm talking about brass. And in this material, we use coil. It is brass is something that you cannot compare with other metals because, to simply put, it is very versatile in nature and can be in any form. It can be used for aesthetics and construction purposes. Next is gold sheet. Many architects use glass panels and windows to impart skyscrapers and buildings with beautiful exteriors and which are very breathtaking and naturally lit interiors. Gold is the most malleable of all metals, so much so that gold leaf can be beaten thin enough to become semi-transparent. By the way, the most common use of gold sheet is gold leaf, which is a very like decoration for architectural purposes. And next, cross metal plate, are known simply as diamond plate, which is a type of metal stock with a regular pattern of raised diamonds or lines on one side, with the reverse side being featureless. Diamond plate is usually steel, stainless steel, or aluminum. Steel types are normally made by hot rolling, although modern manufacturers also make a raised and pressed diamond design. Excuse me. Next is channel. Channel is often used in conjunction with L-beams and other steel products to build commercial and industrial buildings such as warehouses. It can act as girts, studs, braces, joists, or other structural components where the added strength of an L-beam is not actually necessary. And that's it. We're done with the second and the last material board. Thank you for listening, and please lend your ears also to the next report.
Recycle-based products, building boards, and papers. So, an introduction to building boards. Building boards are a group of sheets of building materials, often faced with paper or vinyl, suitable for use as a finished surface on walls, ceilings, and many more. This group of boards are all flat, relatively thin in section, and have been made to standard sizes, usually 4 feet by 8 feet. So these building boards are made of several materials and used for a variety of purposes. So veneer is known as each layer of plywood, and rotary cutting is a method of cutting wood veneer in which a log is fixed in a lathe and rotated against a knife so that the veneer is peeled from the log in a continuous sheet. So kinds of building boards. So one of the kinds of building board is plywood. So plywood is made by bonding together thin layers of wood in a way that the grain of each layer is at right angles to the grain of each adjacent layer. So the types of plywood include marine plywood, fancy plywood, ordinary plywood, form plywood, pre-finished plywood paneling, paper, printed, rope mast, and ribbon grain. So hardboard. Hardboard is made from processed wood chips. Chips of controlled size are subjected to high pressure steam and pressure vessels. When the pressure is released, the chips explode and the cellulose and lignin are separated from the unwanted elements and then mixed into a homogeneous mass and formed into a continuous board which is cut up into convenient lengths. So there are 3 grades of board. The first one is the standard. So standard boards are flexible to be quite easily bent. So it is light brown and is produced in thickness of 1/8, 3/16, 1/4, and 5/16 inches. So standard boards are usually 4 feet wide and they're available in lengths of 4, 6, 8, 10, and 12 and 16 feet. So these grades of hardboard is not suitable for exterior work. So the second grade of board is the tempered. Tempered boards are made by impregnated standard board with a tempering compound of oils and resin and baking it to polymerize the tempering material. So the last one grade of board is low density hardboard. So low density hardboards are not as strong and durable as standard hardboard. So different kinds of board include chipboard, particle board, gypsum board, straw board, structural board, and insulation board. The next are asbestos cement board, cork board, paper board, mineral fiber ground, plastic foam boards, and we can proceed to building papers. So building papers are used for sheathing, roofing, and insulation, and making asphalt shingles, laminated and corrugated building products and concrete for materials, moisture vapor barrier, cushioning material, wallpaper, envelope or sheath for other materials, or as a fireproofing material. So the types of food pulp includes mechanic pulp, chemical pulp, semi-chemical pulp, and sheathing paper, plain paper, asphalt impregnated or coated felt or craft paper, roofing paper, roofing felts, rolled roofing, insulating paper, wood fiber insulating paper, asbestos fibers, cushioning paper, vapor barrier paper, laminating paper, concrete form paper, wallpaper, envelope paper, and the last one is the fireproofing paper.
So we are now moving on to bituminous materials, focusing on waterproofing. There are 4 brands that I will be featuring. The first one is Dolphin brand, next is Primero, Pentens, and the last one is Bostik Poscosil 16. So let's start. Bituminous materials focusing on waterproofing, which are based and available in the Philippines. But then, let's define first what is bitumen. Bitumen is a generic name applied to a semi-solid mixture of complex hydrocarbons derived from coal or petroleum as a coal tar pitch or asphalt. Here are the featured brands that I will be discussing. The first one is Dolphin Bituminous Waterproofing. The second one is Primero Pro Bitumen. Next is Pentens Bituminous Waterproofing Membrane Coating, and the last one is Bostik Poscosil 16 Waterproofing Membrane. So now, let's move on to our first featured brand and discuss its characteristics. The first, the Dolphin Bituminous Waterproofing. It is high in performance, cold applied, single component waterproofing membrane, especially designed from a blend of special resin and rubber. It is also reinforced with special water repelling pillars, mineral stabilizers, and chilling agent. One of its key features is it is easy to apply, no need for mixing or heating. It also saves on labor cost as well. It can be used as waterproofing and protection for wet areas such as kitchen, bathroom, and etc. Vapor barrier coating for walls and floor, waterproofing system for shaded or tiled roofs, and maintenance of existing roofs, masonry, and concrete walls. Next is the Primero Pro Bitumen. Primero Pro Bitumen is a liquid applied, single component, coal tar-free bitumen polyurethane-based membrane that is highly permanent, elastic. It is used for long-lasting waterproofing protection due to its seamless membrane that remains inherently flexible. Its key features are it is called applied, 200% elongation, seamless application, and it claims that it is heat resistant. It can be used in balconies, terraces, roof decks, bathrooms, kitchens, foundations, highways, garages, and concrete tanks. For our third one, it is the Pentens Bituminous Waterproofing Membrane Coating. It is a single component which is newly developed polymer of MMA, natural rubber, and polyurethane combines with the reaction with asphalt and then being modified and further emulsified to form elastic waterproof membrane. It is high elasticity, superb adhesive strength, can apply directly on damp or wet surfaces, and also resistant to any bubbling or side osmosis and phenomenon even submerged in water for a very long time. It can be used for slabs, suspended floors, terraces, and balconies. It also can be used in patios, bathroom, RC gutters, planter boxes, and swimming pools, water tanks, basements, and etc. For our last one is the positive Poskasol 16 waterproofing membrane. It is the self-adhesive, self-sealing layer of rubberized bitumen protected by film of polyethylene. An overlap seam-down edge ensures complete sealing of overlap seams. Polycosig 16 is composed of uniform of rubber-modified bitumen and bonded to a polyethylene film. One of its key features is it is self-adhesive. Also, it claims that it is self-sealing and adjusts for overlaps and fully bonded bonds to most substrates and high elastic product adheres to a rubber-like membrane. It says that it can be used in terraces, plazas, bridge constructions, and sandwich membrane, vertical foundation walls, tunnels, subways, and also in planter boxes. So that is all. Hope you learned something. Thank you.
Bituminous concrete is a type of construction material used for paving roads, driveways, and parking lots. It's made from a blended stone and other forms of aggregate materials joined together by a binding agent. This binding agent is called bitumen and is a byproduct of petroleum refining. It has a thick, sticky texture like tar when heated, then forms a dense solid surface once it dries. Bituminous concrete is also widely known as asphalt in many parts of the world. Bituminous concrete can be used to pave parking lots. Despite its name, this material is quite different than standard concrete and contains no cement. While most cement-based surfaces are white or gray, bituminous concrete is known for its distinctive black appearance. It is often laid right over a gravel base layer to form new roads and parking lots, but may also be poured over existing concrete to repair or smooth out bumps and voids. The bituminous coal is dark brown to black in color and commonly banded or layered. Microscopically, three main groups of macerals can be recognized: vitrinite, leptinite, and intertinite. The glassy material in most bituminous coal is vitrinite, composed of macerals derived primarily from woody plant tissue. Because of its relatively high heat value and low moisture content, its ease of transportation and storage, and its abundance, bituminous coal has the broadest range of commercial uses among the coals. It has long been utilized for steam generation in electric power plants and industrial boiler plants. In addition, bituminous coals that contain a fairly small amount of sulfur and cake easily are the only coals suited for making metallurgical coke, a hard sponge-like substance of almost pure carbon important for smelting iron ore. The bituminous wood fiber board is a separating element under concrete screeds and is obtained from the felting and drying of wood fiber in permit with 10% of bitumen dried during manufacture. It is an excellent soundproofing. Inflow traffic improves the phonic comfort in the rooms and promotes the diffusion of water vapor so as to minimize the formation of mold. The bituminous wood fiber boards are hygrometric regulators, protect buildings with wooden or metal structure from rain and wind. It reduces vibrations and has a density of 230 kg cubic meters.
Greetings everyone! The next product to be discussed is about glass and glazing. First of all, what is glass and glazing? Glass is a hard brittle substance, ordinarily transparent or translucent, produced by the melting mixture of silica, flux, and a stabilizer, while glazing refers to the application of glass windows or walls. Basically, glass is a transparent or translucent material that we can see in our daily lives, such as windows, bottles, light bulbs, and so on. There are numerous company, reseller, and branches of glass products here in the Philippines, such as San Miguel Yamamura, Pioneer Float, Glass Manufacturer, Anglo Watson's Glass, and so on. There are different types of glass which has specific purpose, so in this presentation, we will present different types of glass that you might use for your future projects. The first type of glass is reflective glass. Reflective glass is the product of a glass coating vacuum chamber. The glass is coated with micro-thin layers of metallic films which provide the performance characteristic of glass. It reduces solar heat gain by reflecting the sun's energy, resulting in savings in initial and operating costs of air conditioning. Manufactured in two types, silver and gold, the glass can be specified in any one of three nominal light transmittance of 8, 14, or 20%. A chrome coating provides silvery outdoor reflections and creates a cool effect during the daytime, while being neutrally transparent from the inside. At night, the glass reverses itself by being transparent from the outside and semi-reflective from the inside. Reflective glass is commonly used for big projects such as high-rise buildings or even medium-rise buildings. In several architecture designs, they are used as green sustainable elements for their high performance against heat ingress and delectable visual effect. Next is roll and wrought cast glass. Similar to the process of making plate glass, cast glass diffuses light, and because of its low reflecting and absorption effects, it transmits 90 to 93% of light rays striking it. This type of glass is used for spaces that does not require a clear vision, such as factory roofs, walls, windows for halls and staircase, skylights, and partitions in offices. Next is cathedral and figured glass. Manufacturing is similar to rolled and wrought cast glasses. However, they contain a pattern or texture impressed on one surface by a patterned roller. From the word itself, it is used extensively in churches. It is also used for decorative glass in domestic and commercial buildings. Thickness vary from 1/8 to 3/8 in stock plates from 40 to 50 inches, with lengths up to 100 inches. Examples of available design in Philippines are Waling-Waling R5, Ilang-Ilang R7, Aurora R1, Luningning R4, Dahlia R2, Sampaguita R3. Next is wired glass. Simply a rolled glass in which a wire mesh is embedded during manufacturing. Wired glass has an impact resistance similar to that of normal glass, but in case of breakage, the mesh retains the pieces of glass. This product is traditionally accepted as a low-cost fire-resistant glass. Wired glass can be tinted by aerosol or electricity. Common colors are golden, yellow, green light blue, and violet rose. Thickness is 6 mm, 6.5 mm, and 7 mm. It is widely used to window, door, and partitions. The next type of glass will be presented by my groupmate.
Heat-absorbing plate glass. Heat-absorbing plate glass is designed with the capability to typically absorb 40% of the infrared light and about 25% or more of the visible light that passes through it. This means that the glass reduces solar heat while maintaining the visible light transmission, which makes it a good choice in reducing the heat that will go through your house while still maintaining natural light. This glass usually comes in a light blue or green color, which helps on the glass purpose. Tempered plate glass. Tempered plate glass has 3 to 5 times the resistance of annealed glass to impact and thermal stresses, but it cannot be altered after fabrication. When the tempered plate glass is fractured, it breaks into relatively harmless particles. Vitreous colored plate glass. Vitreous glass is a type of glass which is popular for mosaic tile work. This type of glass is durable, able to withstand chemicals and the elements, and comes in an array of colors, which can be used for many different types of projects. It is widely used in curtain wall construction, storefronts, showrooms, laboratories, and industrial buildings. Laminated safety glass. It is widely used in the automotive industry and transportation, but now is finding some uses in the building industry, like glass that can withstand firearm attacks and explosions. This is made of 2 thicknesses of plate or sheet glass bonded by a thin, tough layer of polyvinyl butyryl resin. a transparent plastic. And lastly, we have insulating glass. Insulating glass consists of two sheets of plate or sheet glass separated by an air space and joined around the edges to produce a hermetically sealed unit.
Types of manufactured glass. There are three types of manufactured glass: sheet glass, plate glass, and float glass, which is initially produced in a plain form, commonly used architectural and automotive purposes such as windows, glass doors, transparent walls, and windscreens. It is almost the same in terms of appearance, but it has its own uniqueness in terms of components and manufacturing process. First, sheet glass. The raw materials, which is sand, soda, and limestone, are first ground to a fine state and mixed in the proper proportions. This mixture, known as frit, is tied into the filling and of a surface and melted. Sometimes collate of the broken glass is also fed in the surface. This type of glass is used where the vision is required but where cost is an important factor. The surface is good but never free from distortion as the two surfaces of the sheet are not perfectly parallel. Plate glass. A high quality sheet of the same chemical composition as sheet glass. Plate glass can be produced in thickness of from 1/8 inches to 1 and 1/4 inches. Although the specialty glasses are usually cast rather than made by the continuous flow processes. This is special because both surfaces of the 100 inches wide ribbon of glass is simultaneously grinded by a twin grinder unit. Then when cut, it is polished with a jeweler's rod to give undistorted clear vision and reflection. Float glass. A float glass produced by a new process. It combines the fire finish of sheet with the perfect flatness of plate frit. The usual combination of raw materials is melted in an oil or gas-fired furnace. The melted glass leaves the furnace and passes to a float bath where it is supported on molten tin. Gravity keeps the liquid tin very flat, and heat applied from above melts out any irregularities in the glass, which is free to conform the perfectly flat tin. As the ribbon glass passes through the float bath, the heat is reduced until the glass is sufficiently hard to be fed on the rollers of the layer without marking the undersurface. After leaving the layer, the glass is cut into long lengths. This process is suitable for thickness of 1/8, 3/16, and 1/4 inches. And lastly, another information about glasses. It has the one-sided and two-sided mirror. A one-sided mirror, also called one-way glass, is coated with a half silver layer, allowing the mirror to reflect half the light that strikes its surface, while letting the other half go straight through. It is commonly used in psychological experimentations, interrogations, focus group, usability tests, and so on. While the two-sided mirror, also known as two-way glass, is a reciprocal mirror that appears reflective on one side and transparent at the other side. The perception of one-way transmission is achieved when one-sided mirror is brightly lit and the other side is dark. This allows viewing from the darkened side but not vice versa. It is used in home security, commercial surveillance, smart mirrors for hiding valuables, bank surveillance, and monitoring employees.
We also have glass blocks. Glass blocks are glass that is made generally smaller and significantly thicker than traditional windows and looks like building blocks. We have two different types of glass blocks: functional glass blocks and decorative glass blocks. Functional glass blocks, depending on its style, functional glass blocks direct or diffuse the daylight which passes through them to improve the illumination of the building interior. Decorative glass block. Available in a wide range of styles and patterns, decorative glass block masonry units provide almost unlimited design versatility when used in windows, openings, and facades as interior walls and divider paneling.